Hey, welcome and good morning, everybody. I know you're very busy taking care of your community, taking care of your crews during this time. So we're going to cut straight to the chase and get into the meat and potatoes of today's presentation, which is all about our ICS 214 form, as well as all of the things that we have done in the past few weeks to make your lives easier in documenting your response to COVID-19, inventory management, and of course, the ICS 214. So if you'll indulge me, I'm going to go ahead and go through all of the things that we've done. Then we'll open it up to questions at the end. I don't expect this to go the full hour today. I don't think we'll need to, but I will stay as long as needed to answer all of your questions. And again, just want to thank you all for being here this morning. If you're first time joining us, my name is Tom Lewis. I'm a Business Development Analyst with Emergency Reporting. 22 years in the fire service in Southern Arizona, retiring as a battalion chief back in 2013. I've used emergency reporting since 2004, became a part-time trainer in 2011, eventually full-time on my retirement from the fire department. I've been privileged to teach all around the world our customers as a Department of Defense and international trainer, and again now serve as our business development analyst, subject matter expert, and key account manager. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into everything we've done regarding COVID-19. And the first area is right here in the incidents module. So you're going to see I'm in Anaheim's account, but it's their scrambled account, which is on our back end. And so we can go in and explore and look at some historical data, not 100%, but it's a little bit better than a typical demo account. So I wanted to show you this. So first things first, we're going to pick an incident. And on basic 2, and one of the things our system requires is that you have to fill out basic 1 before it lets you advance to basic 2. Some of you may have already discovered this, but once you've completed basic 1, it will let you advance to basic 2. And one of the things you'll notice here under special studies, this is a new field, it is defaulted to red, which means it's required. And I'll show you where you can change that setting if you wish to not make it required, or once the study is over, you can turn it off. Okay, so I'll show you that here in just a minute. And if there are any audio or video issues, just ping me on the question and we'll rectify it as soon as possible. But I think so far so good here. All right, so this is part of the United States Fire Administration National Fire Data Center special study. And before I go there, I'm going to bounce up here to this tab, and this link, which I will put in the chat, explains this special study. And so if you haven't visited here, I recommend that you do so and share this around your department so they understand why we're collecting this data and why it's going to matter from a national and federal perspective. Okay, and this will summarize everything. And those of you that are into the export, it is under transaction line 1060. So if you look at the exported file, you'll see this in 1060 in the 8th position of that particular transaction record. Again, that's what the exported file will have per incident, that row 1060. All right, back to the incident. All right, so you have one of 4 choices. Yes, COVID-19 was suspected. Yes, COVID-19 was confirmed. No, COVID-19 was not a factor, or unknown. All right, and then you just put in the best possible response. And keep in mind, you can if you get additional information, you can always go back and revisit the incident to update it. So we'll pick suspected, and then of course we can press on and do the rest of the incident report, which we're not here to do today. I just wanted to show you that. But so what good does that do me on the back end? If we're putting data in, I've got to get some information and intelligence out. All right, and so we're going to do that. But remember, I promised you this. We're going to go into the admin module, and I want you to see where that setting is, where you can toggle it to non-required once this is all over and FEMA decides to not collect this data. But I anticipate the special study to be going on for some time. In fact, it's supposed to end in December 31st, 2022. So that field's going to be up at least until then. And so it's going to be worth collecting that data, well, for quite a while. All right, so here in admin, if you wish to, under required fields and customizations, and I realize not all of you are admins, but I imagine most of you must be to be joining us today. And so you click on required fields and customizations, and you will notice that on Basic 2, there's a special studies checkbox. Okay, now a couple other tips here. This can be turned off to be non-required. Since we're here, my recommendation is to have it look like this. NFIRS, believe it or not, doesn't require en route date and time. So as an aside, I always recommend checking this because you know from the time you get dispatched to the time you go en route is your turnout time. And so making that a required field ensures you capture that data point so you can report on your turnout times. Again, here's the special studies. Uncheck it to make it not required. All right, where else does this come into play? All right, so we go back to incidents. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to complete this report, but I want to show you that upon completion of a report, when you go into the print view, one of the things that we added to the printable view is a special study section. So this will appear on your printable view now as long as the question is answered. If the question isn't answered, then it's not going to appear here as just taking up space on your printable form. Okay, easy. All right, the other area that's of great value, again, now that we put the data in, and putting the data in is clearly super easy, but I want to get some information out. That's one area in the printable page. The other key area is right here under advanced search. So when I click on advanced search, I am simply going to go down here to special studies. It's brand new. I'm going to select COVID-19. Now that's the only special study currently in our system. That's on a national level. There we go. So let's say I want to see everywhere in my jurisdiction where we had a confirmed COVID-19. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click search. Now right here, there's just 2 incidents, okay? But where this helps me, so there's 2 incidents confirmed. Now again, this is not up to date because it's on our back end, but I want to see everything that's suspected and confirmed. Now let's see what we have. So I've got 21. Where are they in my community? With the map integration, you're going to have to trust me. I'm not sure why it's not showing. There's 21 incidents that should be showing here. Let's switch off a heat map because I should be getting at least a pin map. So weird. It's only because we're doing a demo today that this is happening, and I apologize. But I can confirm with you that if I were in their live account, we would have this. That's an example of where I selected COVID-19 was not a factor, and then these are all the incidents. So it's supposed to show. I don't have an explanation why it doesn't. If you go into your account right now, it will probably work like it should because you're on the live side, and you should be able to see both a heat and pin map based on your responses to that special study question. Okay, I'm going to take a quick pause. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, doke, seeing no questions, we will press on. Okay, so that's advanced search. That's one way to get data out. So again, those of you, your data managers, whether it's in your job description or not, from a boot firefighter on up to the chief, just depends how much of your time you spend on data management. So we've got one other area that I want to show you where you can extract the data. And we're going to go here to our report section. And we have report number 1795. We are going to click on to, again, I'm just going to do a 1 day because they run lots of calls. And so you've got this report that shows you all the incidents, okay? And your grand totals at the bottom. So that's report number 1795. Okay, to recap, basic 2 is where you put the data in. All right, you have the ability to change the settings in admin to make it a non-required field under required fields and customizations. You've got the printable view. That shows you in the incident report itself the response to that question. You have the advanced search, which is, I think, one of the coolest parts about this is the ability to change that search and be able to display it on the map to show you where you might be having a concentration of COVID-19 responses or suspected responses. And again, that's a Safari bug if you're on a Mac. All right. And then, of course, report 1795 that I had showed you here will give you a full report. All right. Now, one last area is here in our analytics. If you navigate to BI Basic, which stands for Business Intelligence Basic, you click on Incident Volume. And down at the very bottom, you're going to see 3 tabs. These are called different reports. The third one, the one on the right, is COVID-19 for your agency. And you're able to see, now the map view, they're working on that right now. So it'll have a pin or heat map there as well. But you can see that you can work with this data to see, all right, on my 300 series, we had 94 incidents where there was a response for COVID-19. I can go by station, drill down station 6, it'll just show station 6. They responded, and then the dates. This one is also super helpful because it shows you the progression here. So the waxing and waning of incidents, and hopefully, again, that whole flattening of the curve concept, hopefully we're starting to see it come down. And so we did from March 30th through March 31st. So that's the special study on Basic 2 and where you can extract the data. Now, if you need to collect more information of another sort, take advantage of, and you guys are probably already knowing where I'm going, take advantage of custom questions. So before we had all of our studies in the system and the ability to extract it out, Anaheim went ahead, and I've seen a lot of other departments go in and make some special questions. But maybe you want to ask, should this patient be tracked? You can add that as an additional question. What level of PPE? Again, these are just examples, and it's a way to supplement the data you're collecting during this time. Next up is ICS 214. All right, so I'm hoping all of you are doing a fantastic job in your daily log. Okay, so if I go back and look at the daily log here, now remember, the system's already going to help you create a great daily log. Why? 6 things in our system automatically populate in the daily log. Hopefully, all of you have gone to administration. You have gone to our daily, you have built a really robust, high quality activity code list. This is an example of a particularly good one. And don't forget, set your default activity codes. I'm on the back end here, but you should select for every one of these a default activity code that will auto-populate the daily log with the correct activity code. If you don't do it, some of them won't populate at all. Okay, incidents will still populate, but it won't have an activity code with it. You want that activity code for the extraction of data, okay, because of how our reports are. So where does this come into play for ICS 214? Well, ICS 214, this is report number 1797, and so weird how 1795 wasn't on the back end, but 1797 is. All right, nonetheless, I'm going to pick a day because a lot of what our customers are doing, they are simply picking a shift. They're doing it on the 24-hour operational period. All right, and so here we've got March 30th to the 31st for a shift. Start time is going to be, say your shift changes 0700. End time next day is 07. So, oh, here we go. It's actually 0600. I want you to know one thing here. This always gets you. You're going to put these times in and go, well, I want to capture all the way till 7 o'clock the next day. By selecting 6 a.m., you are actually capturing everything through 6:59 and 59 seconds, or 59 hundredths of a second. So it's going to take you all the way through the 6 o'clock hour. Yeah, hours, minutes, what am I saying? Hours, minutes, so 6:59 and 59 seconds. And so it will capture that full 24-hour period when you select it like this. Very easy to miss that, and it's kind of confusing, but it's how that particular time picker was developed. So when you see this, I'm getting the full 24 hours. I'm going to go with all stations to make sure I'm capturing something. And then now you can see it will auto-populate in a new format. So this is the actual ICS 214 form. All right, this is the first time we've done a report that isn't in our traditional ER format, your logo at the top and so forth. We want this to be producible very easily, that if you need to submit it to FEMA, it's ready to rock. So operational period will automatically enter the parameters you put in here. Notice we fixed that, yes. So 7 to 6:59, your 24-hour period. We don't put seconds in there, but it's assumed. It will put in your agency, and then it will auto-populate your daily log entries here. Now I picked all the stations, so it's going to fill a lot, but a lot of what our customers are doing is they're doing it on a per apparatus basis or a per station basis, and then they're saving this. Now we're not done yet, right? Because and this is showing an error here because I'm logged into support, but it will have your name if you run the report, the date and time that you run it, and if you have a rank in the system, in your personnel profile, it will show your rank as well. But as you can see, because we built this initially for ICS 214 and for 24 ongoing operational periods, 24-hour ongoing operational periods, you don't have an incident name and you don't have some of these other fields filled in. Not to worry, it's super easy to do, and I'm going to walk you through that right now. Before I proceed, does anyone have any questions so far on running this report or where the data is being populated from? All right, so in order to complete this form, we're going to download it. Okay, I'm going to go here and I'm going to open it with Adobe Acrobat Reader. Okay. And the nice thing here is it's going to make life go much quicker. Oh, it's going to have me log in, I bet. Of course it is. Okay, so all you have to do, now I'm on a Mac, it's going to be a little bit different on Windows, but it's not much different. You're going to look for the fill and sign feature. We're going to click it. It's going to ask you who needs to fill and sign. That's you, fill and sign. So here I can put in the incident name, and again, depending on what you're going to put in, COVID-19, ongoing, your name, ICS position, resources, so you can put your crew information in here. All right, and you've got this already filled out for you. And then all you will need to do next, after you've filled in all of the other fields that you wish to capture, all you have to do next is click the sign and plunk that down right there. And then when you're all done, I can share the document certainly, but really what I want to do more than anything is just save it. It will prompt me to save it, and it already, because I've named it, so I need to go save as, sorry. And save it wherever, whatever folder you're going to put it in on your computer. And my format for this is 2020-0331 FEMA, then we'll go FEMA ICS 214 Station 1. And we're good to go. You can put it in your library in emergency reporting. You can store it in a local folder, but then when you go to submit for any kind of reimbursement that's going to require this form to be part of that reimbursement package, you've got it. The biggest pain point everybody was telling us from our customers was that, man, I don't want to be copying and pasting the daily log. It's a pain. So that's what we did. We said, forget that. We don't want you doing that either. So all your daily log based on what you select on those parameters here will populate this form accordingly. Any questions at all on 1797? Running the report, taking it into Adobe Reader, and you don't need to buy the full version of Adobe Acrobat DC, Adobe Acrobat Pro DC. The Reader is sufficient because it gives you that fill and sign component. Questions, comments? Anybody out there using it right now? All right, the next thing I want to show you, everybody, now if you're an ER user and you have the full package, you already have this module inventory. Okay, so for that, and again, I apologize about the COVID-19. It should deploy here this week, so you'll have that tab that I showed you. So you got a little sneak peek there. Somehow I had it in my head it had already deployed. All right, so we're going to go back into my demo account. And the last thing I want to show you today, as far as being able to supplement the data collection needed for COVID-19 and reimbursement, right? So there's funds tied to this. There's probably not going to be too many departments that aren't going to have some budget issues in the next year, primarily due to if you're dependent on sales tax revenue. Well, sales are down, people aren't going out and about, and so your budgets are going to be stressed. So one of the things in our inventory module that you can do, and I won't go through a full lesson on the inventory module, just know that this is one way you can just track your consumables. Okay, so you can see here I've got N95 mask lists here. That's my current status, okay, of my EMS consumables. And when I go into that item, I can see the current amount, the reorder amount I've set it to, and the critical amount. Now, not everybody will have this access if they don't have full permissions to the inventory module, but they should have permissions to enter usage. And so I've got a box of 20, and I'm going to add a use entry. And again, you probably won't do this on a call per call basis, but say after the end of each shift or once a week, we can go in and say, okay, we used 10, not a whole box, but we used individual items. I can put notes if I wish to. I click save, and now it will show me that use entry. I can go back to my inventory list, and it will show me the current amount that I have, 1.5 boxes. All right, now, while we won't turn this into a how to set up and do everything in the inventory module, I did put together a document that I want to show you that I'll also put in the chat right here. This will walk you through setting that up if you wish to use it. So here comes that link. It's going to be in the chat. Here it comes. And this will kind of walk you through getting that set up in the event that you haven't used it. It also has links to the Stafford Act and then the public assistance information. And I'm going to go over some resources here for you in just a little bit before we wrap up. And Andrew, thanks for that comment. So he's not using it now, but they're going to use that ICS 214 for their next tornado and snowstorm. And let's hope for no snow for quite a while there, right, Andrew? So it's going to be a great form whenever you need to fill out a 214 for whatever reason or whatever type of incident. So thanks for that comment, Andrew. So that's, go back to inventory real quick. All right, and then going to inventory home, under inventory reports here, I can see a purchase report. And if I've categorized them correctly, I can see that on April 5th, I spent $200 on N95s. and that's how much I spent. So this is going to show you your purchasing, not consumption. We have other reports that show consumption. All right, so to wrap up, before we get into some of the resources and some links I want to show you, we went over Basic 2, the special study for the United States Fire Administration, National Fire Data Center, and how to extract the data there. Showed you how to do an ICS 214 by running report number 1797 in your account. How to take this out, download the PDF, work with it in Adobe Reader for filling and signing fields that aren't automatically populated, so you can populate it. And I know what some of you are probably thinking, boy, why can't it just fill from the daily roster? So this is not going to be finished. This is not finished. Software is never finished. So what we're talking about is eventually being able to link it to a specific incident in the incidents module, and then populating this with the personnel from either the daily roster, which hopefully populated Basic 4 for each apparatus. All right, so more to come on this. We're pretty excited about this form. I think it's going to open a door to other required forms when you're filling it out, either for the feds, jurisdictional, things like that, to make your life easier for data management and extraction. And then we did a quick peek into the inventory module. A very quick peek, and I provided you a link also to help get you going with that. And then of course we have our knowledge base articles that will help you there as well. So to close, I want to show you a couple resources in case you're not aware of them that you might be able to take advantage of. And Marcus, this webinar is going to be on our YouTube channel later today. So I'll show you that as well as I go over some resources. So thank you for asking that. All right, so here under the COVID special study, I shared that link with you. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what's the whole point of this study, it's really cool. I'm glad to see it. In my career, I've never seen where they've done a full-on national study. That special study can be done locally, but this is the first time in my career I've seen a full-blown national study here. So thankfully, we set it to default as required. And I got to tell you, I want to thank you guys. When this first deployed, and we were able to get this into our system in 30 hours because of its importance and exigent circumstances. And so we did that. But what was really cool, at first release, it wasn't a required field, but over 80% of our customers were entering it in anyway. So that's pretty impressive, and it runs counter to us typical firefighters that if something's not required, we don't fill it in. So I was pretty impressed. Second, coding recommendations. I'm going to send you this in the chat right now. Okay, this one is some guidance in the basic module, EMS, and documenting casualties. Remember, a casualty is not a fatality, it can be an exposure. And so they explain to you how to document that in the event your crews are exposed or potentially exposed to that insidious virus. Next up is this page here. Many of you, if you've done grants for your department, are familiar with it, but I want to bring to your attention one thing. There is a 2020 Assistance and Other AFG Grant Program supplemental notice of funding opportunity that's going to close May 15th. Please get on it. You can get some reimbursement for your agency's response during this pandemic. And so it's got a relatively short window, right? A little over 2 weeks. So jump on it. I am not in the position of writing grants for my department, but I did write a few successful grants, both for my department and for a neighboring volunteer department. And they do a great job in giving you guidance. So if you've written grants, you're probably great at it. I would jump on it. If you've never written a grant, don't be intimidated. They give you a ton of resources here, and anything that they might be asking for, you can get it out of our system, okay? And be able to answer those questions and get some funding for your agency. All right, let me see if we got any questions. That concludes today's presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Do you need me to show you anything else? But that's where emergency reporting is currently, as far as being able to support you in capturing essential data during these unprecedented times, and then of equal importance, getting that data out so you can either, one, keep your crew safe, which is the most important, or to get some funding, to get reimbursed for the additional resources you may be consuming during this time, and certainly to help with the stressed budgets that are going to be happening, if not this year, certainly in next fiscal year. And last thing I'll ask you, anything else you need from us? Anything that you'd like us or to consider as far as development in the system as it pertains to this time? Okay, I must have done a good job on answering things. Rebuild inventory. Well, amazingly enough, Andrew, the inventory module is now being looked at. It has not received, as you could tell, it has not received a lot of love over the years. In fact, I believe it hasn't received almost any love since I've been a trainer. But the good thing in part of emergency reporting since 2011-ish, but the good news is we see the value in it, and that we're looking to try to enhance it to make it more on par with our other modules. And the cool thing about the inventory module is that if you've explored it, it's a legacy module, but you can send out automated email notifications when any product consumable gets below a certain level and hits a critical level. So I should say, let me rephrase that, a critical and reorder amount. So you've got a reorder, it sends an email to whoever you've assigned, and it also will send it when it hits that critical level as well, which is a great feature, and that will still remain within the inventory module itself. Yeah, I agree. That part's really cool about it. All right, I think we're good. Any other questions? Look for, I expect that tab for the BI Basic for COVID-19 to occur on Thursday. They're still working on it, and that explains why the map view wasn't showing. So stand by for that. Worst case, it'll be in a couple more weeks after that. All right, thank you, everybody. Stay safe out there. Have a good rest of your week,